Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us. It's May 8th. We are just through a little over a week of May's Bike Month, and it's a good time to check in and see how everything's going and where we're tracking on numbers. We've got Will here with Love to Ride to give us a deep dive into how things are looking.
Cool. Can everyone see that?
Yes.
Great. So, numbers, where we're up to now. Now, I updated this first thing this morning. It's 5 o'clock my time, just FYI. So it's actually gone up by about another 150 riders since this morning still. So still growing strong, which is great. But 4,100 riders registered ahead of last year, which was at 3,800 at the same time. The interesting stat, which is slightly misleading because of how we look at it on the site, there's two different things, is that we're down on workplaces registered, but we're up on workplaces that have logged a ride. Now, I'll kind of go into that in a bit more detail on the next slide of what to do and how to do it. But essentially, then when the breakdown of the different areas, we are starting to get some growth in some areas, and obviously there's some areas with work. We're getting close to 3,000 in Sacramento County, which is great, and obviously the predominant focus of the workplaces there as well. Yolo County's growing really well and ahead of last year at 466. If we can do more to support like Yuba and Sutter County to grow those numbers, obviously those are areas we'd love to kind of keep growing that. El Dorado's definitely grown on last year at 155, but we'd still love to kind of grow those smaller areas as much as possible. So if there is stuff you want us to do or help with, we're more than keen to kind of jump on calls and see if we can help you guys directly on that. Just before I move on to the next slide, does anyone have any questions on the numbers or support on that kind of side? Seemingly quiet so far, so that's all good. I can always go back. So there's two parts, registered versus logged to ride. And these are important when you look at it from a workplace statistic, like on the first page as well. People from workplaces can still take part, and the registered button is an interesting one for a workplace, depending on your seniority in a workplace and in a company. Is a more junior person, and we've seen this across plenty of sites, a more junior person can sometimes feel anxious about clicking registered for a big company if they're in a more junior position. They don't want to say, even though it doesn't, like mean anything in the grand scheme of things to that company, they might not feel comfortable clicking that button. So I'm not always hugely concerned with registered. The log to ride is the important one, but also it does mean that we potentially need to work on getting the right champions who feel like they can spread that message around internally better. The more junior person, the more insecure people feel at a large organization sending out a wider email or putting something on the internet about it. And so it's always a good example of understanding where we need to support companies who might be taking part and have logged lots of trips, but actually haven't registered. Now, in the end stats, it doesn't make a difference. It's an internal, really good stat for us to know of, do they need support getting the right champion who feels encouraged to be able to put that on, register their company, and champion it internally. So it's good knowledge for us to have. And that then leads on to the registered and log to ride. So very early into the challenge, so there is a gap. We always expect a gap, but I'll kind of explain why. So when a challenge kicks off, obviously we incentivize, we show lots of prizes, we talk about people getting on their bikes, and people register when they hear about it. Then it's getting them on their bike is always the biggest part and the biggest challenge. Now, there's loads of great work going on with events, and I've put a few things at the bottom here. Support, group rides, understanding barriers. The shift here is getting someone on a website's the easy part. Getting them to sit on a bike is the tricky part. And that's where the individual problems arise of not owning a bike or not having the space to store a bike, or I live too far from work, and understanding that actually it's not all about cycling to work. You could cycle to your local shop or taking your kids to school. And so speaking to those people on an individual level and understanding that, for newer riders, group rides is a really important one, and not making it feel too cycly as a starting point. If you are newer to riding, you could be concerned about the certain distance or speed, and so making sure that's like clear in your comms that it's really encouraging and engaging of people who are newer to cycling. And I think the reason I pulled up both these stats is at the moment we're about 50%. That's okay. Like Rob said, we're a week in. We have time for these people to log rides. It's important. New riders, it's an even bigger gap. And that's exactly what you expect to see when you look at and we do a lot of this on our behavior change approach. you know, the first stages of behavior change is pre-contemplation, contemplation. People might register because they're really intrigued by it, seen all the stuff you guys have done, think it's brilliant, but then have the nerves about getting on a bike. And so for a new rider, those barriers and understanding how to support them are totally different. And so when we look at the regular riders, it's about making sure the time they have to cycle is there, telling them that you can cycle anywhere, making it kind of feasible is one. At the new rider end, it's understanding the barriers that might be affecting those people. As this challenge goes on, I've put down here, with about 10 days to go of the challenge, it becomes a real Love to Ride focus. We're still focusing on growing the numbers, improving the amount of people on the site. Towards the end of a challenge, that kind of growth of increase will inevitably drop off. People do less registering in the last week, but we will really focus on making sure that these people and champions and workplaces are pushing their staff to get on the bike and their groups to get on a bike. And we will focus kind of Lorraine's work around that as well, of supporting those people and understanding why they haven't gotten a bike so far in the first 3 weeks. And so our shifts changed throughout the month, and like us with that support piece, we're there to support you guys. If you're not sure on what those barriers might be or why, but it's understanding the different groups of people and why they might be affected of getting on a bike at this kind of time. Rob's nodding to that. He probably has faced these barriers at different events and how you speak to them. But I don't know if anyone has any questions on how to kind of support that knowledge. But I think basically comms in the beginning is, you know, quite generic and is good because we want to get as far out there as possible. When we start talking about the hard part of getting them to sit on a bike and not just like engage in the platform, it's about understanding their barriers a bit closer and sending them to the right kind of support, whether that be, you know, how to fix your bike or how to get it ready for a bike ride or fix a flat, you know, those kind of things. It's that kind of more specific approach to supporting those people. I don't know, has anyone got any questions on those kind of things? Nice. And I'll keep the slide up at the end of every single one of these, which is just keep making sure that you're spreading the word, especially when we're talking about this registered and log to ride, is making it feel inclusive to those newer riders who might not feel comfortable. So, you know, letting them know the distance and that it's not going to be a fast ride, and that kind of knowledge of making it feel things which people feel pressurized when they might see a group cycle, of understanding that the group cycle will be at a speed that people feel confident and comfortable with. You might get engagement from those people who've engaged in the site but are not quite sure on if they're ready to do that kind of thing. And so how can we support them? But like I said, if you need support, if you want to speak separately away from this call on engagement and help from Lorraine, drop us an email. Our email's at the bottom there. We're happy to jump on a call. We're happy to speak to you guys and see if we can support. And that's it from me, Rob.
Thank you. Some great points there, kind of about psychology of getting people on the bike for the first ride. I believe Love to Ride made some changes this year in how that workplace number is tracked. I think in previous years, if you would, have a workplace on your account and you log a ride despite, any organization going on at the workplace, that counted in previous years. So we're watching that stat closely because we know it'll be a hard one to hit. We're already up over 200 workplaces organized, so we're getting towards that 280 number that we had last year.
Yeah.
My screen share started. Lorena, would you like to speak to workplaces?
Yes, absolutely. For workplaces that have already registered, woohoo. As Will has already said, the second part is getting on your bikes. So I think if any of you all serve as the champions for your workplace, or if any of you all just have the opportunity to go ahead and let folks know, just chat about some of the things that you're doing. Maybe you're going to go on a short bike ride to maybe be influential to someone else that can make a difference. And then other than that, I would say do your best to really just ride your bike, so we can really just be a motivation for others. I think people, when they see other folks doing it, they'll get more excited about it. And that includes me. So I know that I'll be on my bike as well. So if we see anyone on their bikes, just give a wave and let's do our best to get writing. Other than that, for workplaces, if you guys have any other ideas on just supporting those additional counties that we need to raise our numbers in, whether it's your favorite place to eat at, favorite place to just shop at, a little boutique shop, whatever it is, it can make a world of difference. You could also share things like your places of faith, perhaps sharing with them about the Maze Bike Month Challenge. That could also help. And just anyone who wants to get connected or is having any trouble with the promotional path, maybe a quick, easy way to kind of go through it. I'm here and available. And if you want my information, I'll go ahead and drop it in the chat. I accept emails, text messages, phone calls. It doesn't have to be between work hours. I understand that all of us are working and we have our regular work schedule. So if it's something that you want to connect with me on after work, say 6 p.m. even to 8 p.m., as long as the sun is up, I'm available. Okay. So now that we're into our nice daylight hours and it's extended, give me a call. So you'll see my number down in the chat.
Excellent. Thank you. Get my screen share going here. Not to repeat some of the stats that Will threw out there, but I do have slides in the deck here. There we go. Broken down county by county. So this is taken from my admin screen from right around 7:30 this morning. As Will said, our numbers, we actually probably pulled the numbers around the same time. 4,098 people for the entire region have signed up. We had about 4,500 last year. So we're going to hit that number just based off of organic growth. But I would love to see us get to that 5,000 number for this year is kind of our stretch goal. So we'll keep doing outreach. Then Log to Ride, we're about 50%. This has increased a lot since Tuesday. I believe there's a backlog of Strava rides waiting to be synced to Love to Ride. So the Log to Ride number has shot up over 700 rides since I looked Tuesday morning.
There's also, just on that note, 62,000 which will go through this evening. So it's been super busy with Bike Month this year. And Strava, we are in contact with Strava. We're trying to solve this problem, but there's 62,000 more rides being logged this evening. So it's working in stages. So we're getting there.
Wonderful. So yeah, we're working through the backlog. Those numbers will get more and more accurate as the month goes on. On a personal note, I do a lot of my rides on Ride with GPS because I like their mapping feature as an LCI. Helps, easy for me to distribute kind of safe routes to people to address their specific needs. I've always done a pass through, basically sync my Ride with GPS to Strava and my Strava to Love to Ride. But it's no longer passing through. So if like me, you're using Ride with GPS and using that convoluted method to get your rides into Ride with GPS, it's not working anymore. So I've been logging my rides manually, or I've been doing my e-bike rides on Strava because I can differentiate them from my analog bike rides. Probably a class of one on on that, having 3 phone apps on my phone for tracking rides, but
Just quickly on that, Rob, well, because it's a good point, is if it doesn't show up immediately right now, don't worry, don't manually log your trip. It is there. It's just the sync from Strava, which we are working on with Strava to make sure that it comes through quicker. So they are all there. There are no rides lost. They're just in a backlog at Strava's end trying to get through to our platform. So we're just trying to make sure that we can speed that up again, and it will be solved this week.
Wonderful. So that's the SAC region numbers. I've got it broken down county by county, so everybody can kind of take a look. One thing about these numbers, we are looking at 2025 so far compared to all of 2024. So, the numbers are going to be down from where we ended up the month last year, but it gives you an idea of how far to go to beat last year's numbers we have. So for El Dorado, coming in at 155, not far off of 214. Lots of people logging rides comparatively, percentage-wise, versus last year. Placer County, 370, shooting for 560 was last year's number, so doing well there. Sacramento County, almost up to last year's number already at 2904. And these numbers have gone up by about 20, I think, since I pulled them this morning. So we should get there in the next, within the afternoon or possibly tomorrow. We should be into the green for Sacramento County, and just about getting all those registered folks out there on the bike. Sutter County currently at 32, 40 last year, attainable goal. We'll be reaching out to our friends at Yaba just to check in with them. They've had a hard time making the calls, but are putting in work up there in Sutter and Yuba counties. I pulled Yuba County as well. The majority of people in the Yuba Sutter area live in Sutter County. That's where Yuba City is, in Sutter County. A little confusing. But 19 registered for the challenge versus 27 last year. So still got a little work to do. A lot of the Yaba events are still coming up this month. So got time to correct those. Yolo County, big props to Yolo County. Already just, 4 riders off of last year's numbers. They will probably hit it in the next day or two, and we'll be growing from now and through the end of the month. So it's a great time to kind of, as Will said, talk about getting people out for rides. So we've talked about why to join the campaign, how it helps SABA advocate for better infrastructure, combats climate change, great for our health, win prizes, and then, give folks stuff to ride too. So we've got a huge calendar of events out there on the website. Um, Actually, also the carrot on the stick. We'll talk more about events in a second. Grand prize, a Specialized Globe Haul Short Tail. This is a Class 3 cargo bike. Great for getting around town, hauling groceries, carrying kids. Super versatile, truly a car replacement e-bike. That will be drawn at the end of the month for a lucky winner, and every ride that people log that's a mile or more is an entry into that grand prize drawing. Event-wise, we had the Mays Bike Month kickoff event, which is the Breathe Bike Festival on Saturday. Is Jennifer Fenton on the call? Jennifer, you want to speak a little bit
Yes.
about the festival?
Sure. Well, thanks to everyone that came out and had a table and talked about whatever good things are going on. I thought the event went well. The vibe was happy and upbeat. The pump track was a huge hit, so that was fun watching kids become confident on that. I had 3 parents come up to me and say that on that day their kids started riding on their own. So either training wheels came off or feet came up off the ground. So that's exactly what we want to see, confidence with our youngest, and then the parents seeing that they can handle it. So success all around. So thank you so much to everyone that came out. And if you do have any feedback, we'd love to hear it. We're always trying to improve and offer things that are meaningful to you and the community. So feel free to shoot me or Rob your thoughts, and we'll be debriefing soon and planning for next year. So thank you.
Yeah, great turnout and great weather. We were watching it very closely for the weeks preceding, and the percentage of chance of rain going from about 30 to 40% down to single digits for the first couple hours. Completely dry and got plenty of sun in the afternoon. Yeah, fantastic. And then the nature of where we host that event on Riverfront Street in West Sac, a lot of cyclists roll through there. So we've got a lot of organic participation of people just out on their bike rides, stopping in at the event. Saw lots of popular figures from the local cycling scene came by and said hey and hung out for a while. So fantastic time. Coming up this weekend on Saturday, we have our Bike and Seek event. We're going to hide about 30 stickers all around the region between West Sac, South Sac, downtown, Midtown, East Sac, highlighting infrastructure around the region, and we'll have a clue sheet to hand out. It's very kind of choose your own adventure style of event. So if you want to do a 30-mile ride, you can certainly lot of course to do so. If you want to do something a little more family and kid friendly, fewer miles. You have to hit about 5 of those locations to complete the event and win some swag. We'll give out awards for most miles traveled, most clues found, and a couple other categories. But you can start from any bike dog in the region. So there's the West Sac location, Broadway location, and the East Sac location. Then go out and start finding your location markers. We'll meet up at Bike Dog. We'll be launching riders between 12 and 2 from all those locations. Meet up at Bike Dog in East Sac by 4 p.m. and distributing awards by 4:30. So should be a fun day. It's going to be a warm one, 92 degrees. Working on getting some fun surprises to help you beat the heat that we'll announce at the launches. So next week, Bike to Work Day on the 15th. Bike Party will be out at Guy West Bridge in the evening commutes for us doing an Energizer station. They'll be bringing the party to the eastern side of the Guy West Bridge. So if you're biking on that day, feel free to swing by, get some swag. May 18th, Bike to the River Cats game, a $19 ticket price to get into the game. $5 of that goes to benefit Saba. We'll have Saba's Bike Valet team out there parking bikes in our secure corral, which if you've biked to a River Cats game or an A's game is very different from the way the River Cats operate Bike Valet.
Also, first people that get in there get a bike tune-up.
Yep.
Once over by our mechanics.
Yes, our mechanics will be there, and the first 50 people who roll up who need a tune-up, our mechanics will be on site to make sure your bike rolls out in better shape than it rolled in. Then May 24th, bike swap meet. We're partnering with Sacramento Bike Kitchen to have a swap meet at Community Bike Shop. This is the bike shop that's been in development for about the last 6-8 months. That Saba has been working with Community Shop Class. Chad at Community Shop Class has a great program that teaches neurodivergent youth woodworking and shop skills, basically building tiny homes, a number of programs going on there. And we're opening the first bike shop in 40 years on Stockton Boulevard, an underserved community for biking infrastructure and bike repair. So it'll be a kind of youth run, working, classroom to teach youth bike skills and bring bike services to a much needed bike services to an underserved community. We're hoping to have the bike shop open here sometime during May, so this may be the grand opening.
Not going to happen.
Not going to happen. Okay.
June.
Thank you. You're fresh off the meeting with Community Shop Class yesterday. So yeah, look forward to opening in June, but this will be a sneak peek to kind of check out where it is and how it's coming together. Chad has an amazing skill for kind of for placemaking. If you've been to Community Shop Class, you can just spend an hour wandering around and look at all the features that he's built in there. It's got incredible vibes. So May 24th, come on out if you're looking for some stuff for your next bike build or just want to hang out and enjoy the bike community. $10 vendor fee. We're accepting vendors still, and 100% of that goes to benefit Community Bike Shop. May 25th, we're talking about doing a branch line trail ride with Yolo County to highlight the existing infrastructure and the proposed changes that are going to happen to get a trail from West Sac all the way down to Clarksburg. So we'll have more details going out on social media about that as it approaches. May 27th, Film by Bike at Pipeworks, or technically their tap room, Pintworks, right next door. Great place to show movies. We'll have Bike Valet out there as well. It's a $5 fee. We're showing the adventure film package from Film by Bike. So it's a series of short films loosely themed around adventure cycling. Should be a good time. Got a few promos working for that as well. And then May 31st, our parking takeover, where we take over a bunch of parking spots in Midtown or downtown and reclaim some of that space that we dedicate to cars to do some placemaking. So we'll have some furniture out there, easy up tents, art bikes, blender bikes. Bike Party's going to be out there bumping some tunes, and it'll just be a fun decompression session after a long May of events. So stop by. Great time to just kind of check in and share stories uh, from from all of your May activities. And it's never too late to add an event to the community event calendar. So follow the link to the Google form. It'll automatically update on the Google Calendar that is shared on the Love to Ride site. Anybody can embed that calendar in their site if you'd like to. It's filling up to be quite a exciting month. Still getting events uploaded for later in May, pretty much daily. So keep an eye on that event calendar. Lots of good stuff getting posted to it. Aside from that, normally we do a partner meeting on the 22nd. I think we'll probably just call that off, and I can email around stats for everybody unless folks want to meet on the 22nd. And then tentatively, I'm going to schedule the campaign debrief meeting for June 12th, and we can take a look at the stats and see how we stacked up against 2024 and share some lessons learned. And then I'll get ready to put them all into the final report. Yes, Deb.
So we got a lot going on, as you just heard. I want to go back to hearing from you guys some of the things that you've got scheduled or wins that you've already had. I'm really curious to hear how things are going on your end. Example for us is, Saturday was fantastic. We had a great time at the Breathe Bike Festival. And then on Sunday, we had 30 people that took a free train ride to and from Sac to Davis for Loopalooza. And Loopalooza was great, as it always is. Thank you, City of Davis, and all of the Loopalooza partners. It was really fun. I always get lost in Davis because every road seems to end in a park, which is an amazing thing. So it's fun to get lost in Davis. We had 30 people on that bike ride, which was fantastic. Thank you to Capel Corridor for providing free train. So, that's a great collaboration also with SAC and then, getting over to Davis. So I'm curious, I know other partners on this call have already done a bunch of rides and events. And so I want to hear what some of the rest of you guys have been doing, because we know we're tired. Y'all must be too. What you got? What's going on? Don't make me call on you, Dahlia. Kelly. Come on.
We have an event coming up in Rancho Cordova on May 18th, and we're partnering with Log Off Brewing, and kind of gonna show people how to navigate the streets, and then head over to the Parkway and loop back to Log Off Brewing and cool off with some beer.
Awesome. Yay. See, to Will's point, doesn't have to be a huge event like what we've been planning. It can be something as simple as, let's go on a meetup and go for a ride and then go have a beer or a coffee or a tea or a kombucha or a seltzer water, fill in the blank. So that's awesome, Dahlia. Thank you for sharing. Kelly, what you got? I know you guys have been doing something.
We did. Hi. We're up here in Auburn, and on Sunday we had our Bike Month kickoff, and our nonprofit's a little different because one of our major arms is maintaining a bike park. And so we had our kickoff at our bike park, and we think we had about 200 to 300 folks come out. It was really big. Yeah, it was huge. We had a local food truck come out who's super supportive. They donated beer, so we made a good fundraiser out of beer, and we did a jump jam in combination with that. So we had some pro BMX folks come out and show off their tricks. And if you haven't been to our bike park, it's a true gem. So encourage everyone to come up here for that. And then Tuesday, one of our shops hosted a speaker series on bike packing. So we had about 30 people come out just to learn about local bike packing routes. And that was went super well. Our community is really interested in bike packing right now. So we are trying to support that. And we're doing bike valet every Saturday at our farmers market. That is, I think this week will be more popular than last week, but everyone's excited for that. And next week we have with our local theater, we're doing a bike movie called Hard Miles, which is like a feel good movie. So they're giving us a portion of the proceeds for that. And at the end of the month is our big raffle on May 30th. We also have a haul, a Globe haul to raffle off, and a ton of other local sweet prizes and a San Juan Huts trip as well. So Auburn is happening if anyone comes up here. And yeah, thanks for the swag. The Saba swag is off the hook. People are so happy. We're gonna have bells on every single bike here in town. So yeah, so
Awesome.
thank you so much for that.
Oh,
Yeah,
our
that's
pleasure.
awesome. Fantastic.
Yeah, every bike needs a bell, and
Every
we were
bike.
able to go deep on bells this year, and have a great supply of them. So I don't think I trimmed a single order. In fact, for bells, I think I only increased for a lack of socks. Michael Hutnick, had your hand up.
Hopefully my computer doesn't die. Yeah, May's been really great for Caltrans. We got an early jump on communications, so we're kind of juggling 2 different newsletters at the same time. We've got our headquarters and District 3, which is the Sacramento area, highlighting events, and then we have a statewide all-staff email that we're putting out using less local events and things like that. We filmed a few fun short little videos, little safety videos that are now posted to Instagram at the I think it's called Official Caltrans HQ is their Instagram, and the first of the 3 is up, and the next 2 are going to be coming out within the next couple of weeks, and that was really fun to make. We tabled at the Breathe kickoff event, which was very well attended. That was nice. And then we've got Bike to Work Day that we're going to be doing Energizer stations for. We had a really successful leadership ride with a Caltrans and City of Sacramento. We did a big group ride. Thank you, Saba, for all your support on that. It went super smooth. And I know I'm forgetting one pretty important thing, but maybe it'll come to me later and I'll throw it in the chat. But a lot of stuff going on, and it's a great bike month so far.
Awesome. I just want to also make a plug and say, for us in the last couple of years, so much of Bike Month is the education and the encouragement and the fun stuff. Really, it's more cheerleading. But we're also making sure that we also focus in on like infrastructure, where infrastructure has changed and it's for the better, where infrastructure, bike paths that go nowhere. Trying to weave in some education about roads, road safety, etc. So while May is Bike Month is all about the fun and excitement of riding your bike, it's good for climate change, it's good for your wellness, all those things. We're trying to also build in a little bit of that advocacy stuff that's with a really soft A. It's not like we're turning people into, an army that's descending on city council, although I wouldn't mind that. But we're trying to build that work into the fun so that people have a better understanding of how infrastructure changes and what's good and what needs work. So I highly encourage that kind of effort built into some of your activities as well.
Hey, this is Jenny McCormick in El Dorado County. Hi. So we have a grand opening coming up at the end of the month, May 31st, for our new pedestrian overcrossing that crosses over Missouri Flat Road. In addition, we've also been doing some advocacy work with trying to get our natural trail, which runs along the railroad tracks, some additional people helping out, and also support from our local politicians, and that's going well. So just, come join us for our grand opening. It's going to be fun, and check out there's film of them putting the pedestrian overcrossing in place on our Facebook page and Instagram. So check it out. It was pretty cool.
Super cool. Thanks, Jenny.
Anyway,
Awesome.
thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, the El Dorado Trail is probably an underappreciated trail for our region. Once you get up there to ride on it, it's really gorgeous. So, you know, fun day trip. Get out, go up to Shingle Springs is a pretty good place to catch the beginning of it on up to into Camino, essentially.
If you've got an off-road bike, you can start in Shingle. If you don't, start in the town of El Dorado. That's where the paved trail starts.
Yeah, there is a trailhead in Folsom, but it's basically very loose gravel filling in the railroad track.
Right.
So I know some adventurous gravel cyclists have done it. Probably better on a mountain bike.
Yes.
Takes you down through Latrobe. It's not not the easiest trail in the lower sections, but as you get closer to El Dorado Hills or El Dorado, the town of El Dorado, it does turn into a paved separate bike trail.
And it's very beautiful to the east up near Camino Heights. It's very pretty. So
Yeah, a few weeks ago, some friends and I did that, and one of the friends was on a Turn GSD, which is like a city-oriented e-bike, real heavy. And we didn't know how mountain bike oriented it was going to be, so that was quite the adventure. It was a lot of fun though. We had a great time.
Oh wow, good for them.
Yeah.
Kudos.
Apple donuts await you in Camino, so
There you go.
if anything can motivate you to get up those hills,
Or lots of, if you're a wine drinker, plenty of wine.
that as well.
So,
Anyone else have some events they'd like to share or anything they'd like to shine the light on?
Yeah, this is Victoria. Keep an eye out on the SACOG Instagram account. For all of the normal reasons, but also because our communications team put many of us through a training so then we could create our own May is Bike Month videos throughout the region. And I saw one that was already filmed. I'm not sure if it's been posted yet, but it is our very own Summer Lopez showing how to use NorCal Go, the trip planning and trip logging app, to find a bike buddy for a commute to work trip.
That's awesome, Victoria. Love it.
That's great. Yeah, we'll keep an eye out for those and share them on our socials.
I think bike buddies are another really simple thing that we can get going, that to Will's point again of how do you just get people to go from registering to logging a ride? Get a bike buddy, go for a coffee, go to work, whatever. That's awesome. Thanks, Victoria.
It makes figuring out a new route a lot less intimidating if you ride with somebody. And I just saw this through the Sac Bike Reddit the other day. Somebody was asking about biking their commute into Davis, had never ridden across the causeway. Somebody who works at UC Davis is just like, oh, I do it all the time. Let's meet up. Boom. Just having that, that guide for the first ride to get you over the causeway makes it far less intimidating. Michael, yes.
Yeah, I'm just wondering what the options are. So it sounds like NorCal Go is a way to find bike buddies. Is there anything else, perhaps through like Love to Ride, where you put it up on like a message board or something like that, inviting people or asking people if they're going to be in a certain area at a certain time or whatever?
Yeah, so the easiest way to do it on Love to Ride is you can obviously message on your group, workplace area. So there's a message function. And obviously when you message on that, anyone in that workplace would also get an email saying you have a notification from Michael at your workplace. So if you're saying, hey, I'm cycling into work tomorrow, put it in there, everyone will get a notification to their email saying Michael's put a notification and people can respond. And you can do that with clubs, groups and workplaces.
Yeah, so on Love to Ride, it'll be more focused on your workplace or any groups that you belong to. I believe NorCal Go has the ability to sync you up with just people who are geographically your departure and destinations meet up from around the region. So
That's correct.
Yep, I'll have to put one on there for my morning commute to our Tuesday meetings down at the SAB office. I know SAC TMA's expressed interest. They have a couple people who live out by me, including Cheryl and Gabby. Both are out in my neck of the woods. we'll get a bike bus together to ride down on Tuesdays here. Claudine.
Yes, I like to share this small little win. I finally got an extra lock for my new e-bike, so I could ride it to the gym, and I took it to the gym this week, and I had posted it, and my friend Chris, it encouraged him to get on his bike yesterday, and he put it on Facebook, and he's like, all right, May is Bike Month, Claudine, let's go. And then he's like, we're gonna have to go to our bike party, one of the bike party Sacramento rides. So I've been talking about it for the longest. So if I don't have the hitch in my car, he's gonna come pick me up so we can go to ride more. But yeah, that's just a little small encouragement.
That's a big win. That's not a small win. Those are the actual big win. That's
Those
the
are the
registered to log
wins.
to ride we're talking about. That's the actual stories behind all the big numbers. That's key.
Exactly.
Excellent. Congratulations. And yeah, bike party is a great way to get out and have fun on a nice slow cruise through town. It's a great community. Highly encourage you to participate with them. And then, there's lots of social rides. 50 Corridor and SAC TMA's been quite active this year. Saba's social rides are always a fun one too. And those are all, all bodies on bikes, very casual pace. Anybody can participate. Kelly or Council Member Davis.
Yeah, my first plug is do bug your city council and let them know it's Bike Month and invite them to events, because I think it's a really powerful way to show them, even if you're not at a bikeable location, that there's a lot of enthusiasm behind these things. And that I also wanted to give a shout out because I see Corey lurking here, and a partner collaboration. He was at our kickoff, so it was really nice to have him working on the Placer County, the countywide transportation plan. So thank you, Corey, and it was really fun to have partners coming to that. So thanks.
Excellent point. Yeah, and thank you, Corey, for being our swag distributor for Placer County. As we've grown up there and we have more partners, that is getting to be a bigger and bigger haul. And the partners up there appreciate it. We appreciate the heck out of it. Brenda as well from YOLO YOLO Commute, helping out the YOLO crew to get their stuff. The teamwork is greatly appreciated by everyone at Saba, and getting that swag out into the community so everybody has stuff to give away at their events.
Sure, no problem. And it was a great event up in Auburn. Had a lot of fun. It was very well attended.
Awesome.
We had a city council member roll into the kickoff, Roger Dickinson from District 2, North Sacramento. Rolled in on his old Bianchi very casually. Got a few moments to catch up with them. So there is interest out there among the electeds. Eric Guerra here in the city of Sacramento has been very vocal about his love of his e-cargo bike and hauling his kids around on it. So extend the invite. You'd be surprised how many folks will take you up on it.
Has everybody on this call picked up their swag? Anybody
almost
not
everybody
yet made it down yet to get it?
I think City of West Sac still has to pick up. SACOG's already has arrangements to pick up later this morning. City of Citrus Heights is going out with their Bike Fillet event. I was going to send some emails this week just to check in to make sure everybody gets their stuff and starts putting it to use. But yeah, if you haven't, feel free to reach out. If you need to make special arrangements, we do have folks popping in and out of the office on Fridays this time of year, just prepping for events. So we can always try and meet up with you if the 10 to 4 Monday through Thursday window doesn't work for you. So on that note, have a great week and great weekend. We hope to. Stephen has picked up. I'm sorry for calling you out, Stephen. West Sac has their swag. Yeah, I last looked on Tuesday. Yeah, and Mary with Citrus Heights. Yeah, Bike Fillet knows that they have to bring that out for your event. And good luck out there in Citrus Heights this afternoon. Wish you success, and yeah, thanks for coming out, and keep pushing. Keep getting those folks registered. Start using that promo pack to remind people that just a trip to the store get that ride logged, chances to win, sense of accomplishment, all great reasons to log rides during May.
One thing, Rob, I would like to say, Yellow Committee, Brenda, I just want to kind of do a shout out to Patrick Gold. He's your board member. He's also a board member of our CAC here at the Transportation District, and he promoted you guys during our meeting. So I just thought that was really cool
Yay.
that, he
Excellent.
mentioned
Yeah,
May's
Patrick's
Bike Month, and yeah.
New board
Thanks for
member
that,
at Saba
Brenda.
and already having a big impact. We appreciate all of his work that he's done to help deepen ties between Saba and on the variety of organizations he's tied into.
We stole him from Breathe.
Sorry, Jennifer.
Yeah, Patrick's great.
Glad he's still doing good work for everybody.
Yeah. It's all in the family.
Right.
Wonderful. Have a great day, everyone. I'll be sending out a recap here shortly with the slide deck, which will have all the county data broken down into it. We appreciate all your help, and yeah, have fun out there.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. We'll see you later.
Thank you.